Okay, now let's turn to the task of translating sentences from English into FOL and from FOL back into English. We've already seen that our translations into FOL of ordinary English sentences sometimes leave things out that we consider to be logically uninteresting. For instance, the shades of meaning that we get from English double negation, which we saw in an earlier video. And you'll recall that A is equivalent with B just in case their truth conditions are the same. But what this means then is that there are many ways of expressing certain sentences that are logically equivalent even if they're not really equivalent in English. For example, all of the following are equivalent: A and B, A but B, A yet B, and A however B. The reason we say that all of these are equivalent is just because they all have the same truth conditions. For example, I'm busy, but I got your email is true just in case I am busy and I also got your email. As an exercise, you can think about the rest of these and why it has to be that they're only true when both of their conjuncts are true. So all of these are equivalent with what we would symbolize as A and B. Now we saw in an earlier video that disjunction doesn't quite work like the English or, in the sense that it's inclusive rather than exclusive. That is to say, it's true if one or the other or both of its disjuncts are true. Whereas in English, we typically use or in the exclusive sense. Suppose A is, you finish the report on time, and B is, I fire you. Well, if I say to you, you'll finish the report on time or I'll fire you, I'm saying something like one or the other, but not both. And this is why it's misleading to read A or B as either A or B. Suppose, though, that we wanted to say either A or B. How would we say that? Well, what we want to do is create a sentence that has the same truth conditions as either A or B. So we have to pause and think about this for a minute. And if you want to, I'd encourage you to pause the video now and think about how you would express either A or B. Let's start by looking at A or B with our inclusive or operator. Now the problem here is this top T, because we want this to be false for either A or B, which says something like either A or B, but not both. And we can symbolize this but not both with a negation of the conjunction of the two. Let's fill out first the truth values for the conjunction within these parentheses, so we'll see why we're flipping them. So our negation flips these so that all the T's become F's and all the F's become T's. But our main connective is this conjunction right here, which binds the two sentences together. And the main connective is going to be based on the truth values of these two columns. The first one comes out false because A and B comes out true, and so its negation comes out false. The second two come out true, and the final one comes out false. And this is just what it means to say either A or B, but not both. Looking back at our A and B, we want the first one to come out false, the second one to come out true because one is true and not the other, likewise the third, and the final one to come out false. This then is how we express either A or B, but not both. So we can do this with FOL, it's just a longer sentence. Well, that wraps up week 4. So if you have any questions, as always, just let me know.